another unusual twist, Israel taking immediate action to protect its airspace following the disappearance of Flight 370. Israel quickly putting in place new security measures as some fear the missing plane might become a weapon of mass destruction. A former advisor of Prime Minister Netanyahu says Israeli officials see Iranian fingerprints in this whole thing.
We are watching a spellbinding international geopolitical thriller. The Israelis have a specific concern. They're watching a security environment deteriorate all around them. Syria is imploding. You've got chemical weapons that, supposedly were supposed to be removed. Now, what will the Russians do? So they're watching very closely, and they're probably a target,
but is that
among others.
Is that being cautious, or is that having a specific piece of intelligence? It's time to hash it out with all of you and my very good friend, Sean Hannity.
Hey,
now,
Greta.
Sean and we're both, as the viewers might know, we're getting lots of viewer tweets using hashtag Greta370theory. And here's what you are saying, you viewers, happened to Malaysia Airlines 370. Jason Stammer tweets, it will be used to deliver a nuclear-type device to hit Israel or the United States. And Malaysia M. Ranch tweets, pilots turned plane around to use as weapon. Malaysia shot it down and cleaned up mess and gave false leads. Sean, what do you think about these tweets?
Listen, any and everything is on the table right now.
We're doing two things tonight. We've got this guy, Anwar Ibrahim. The pilot we know now was related. He gave an interview to the Wall Street Journal today and admitted as much that he was related. We also know that the pilot was, in fact, at the trial where this guy was recently sentenced to 5 years in jail. So, remember, he had the T-shirt that said democracy is dead. That raises questions in my mind.
He is suggesting that he thinks, I believe backed by some sources that he has, that the plane may have even landed in Pakistan. And that's pretty fascinating to me, and that would tell me that our government and the Pakistani government and a lot of people here involved in this know more than what they're...
And a lot of people here involved in this know more than what they're telling us.
The talking heads of the corporate news networks are becoming increasingly desperate to fill the 24/7 news cycle with meaningless speculation and blather. In their desperation, they have even turned to speculation on a subject long shunned as outlandish conspiracy theory by these very same networks: the possibility of remote control hijackings of commercial passenger jets.
The latest theory is the flight could have fallen victim to the world's first cyber hijack. In an interview with the UK's Sunday Express, Dr. Sally Leversley, a former Home Office scientific advisor, said she believed malicious codes triggered by a mobile phone or a USB stick could have been able to override the aircraft's security system. This could then change the plane's speed, altitude and direction by sending radio signals to its flight management system. In April last year, Hugo Tesso, a security consultant, described how aircraft hacking was possible during a lecture at a computer hacking conference.
The speculation is prompted in part by a report in the Federal Register last November noting that several models of 777, including the 777-200 model used for Flight 370, were susceptible to outside attack. Question mark headlines musing about the possibility of such a cyber hijacking serve to obscure or even deny a very important point. The first such cyber hijackings most likely took place over 12 years ago, on September 11, 2001, using technology that was tested, proven, and available long before that infamous date. When it comes to the remote control of civilian aircraft, President Bush stated in late September 2001 that he would devote federal funds to developing new technologies for combating the threat of hijacking, including remote control technology.
And we will look at all kinds of technologies to make sure that our airlines are safe, and, for example, including technology to enable controllers to take over distressed aircraft and land it by remote control.
Another curious connection presents itself in Dov Zakheim, the comptroller of the Bush Pentagon and, until taking over his Pentagon role in 2001, CEO of SPC International, a subsidiary of System Planning Corporation, which provides a so-called flight termination system for the U.S. military that the company boasts provides a fully redundant turnkey range safety and test system for remote control and flight termination of airborne test vehicles. As comptroller of the Pentagon, Zakheim was responsible for the trillions of dollars that could not be accounted for in the Pentagon's books at the time of 9/11, and which prompted Secretary of Defense Rumsfeld to declare a war on bureaucracy on September 10, 2001.
Pentagon, the day before 9/11, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld declared war, not on foreign terrorists.
The adversary is closer to home. It's the Pentagon bureaucracy.
He said money wasted by the military poses a serious threat.
In fact, it could be said that it's a matter of life and death.
Rumsfeld promised change, but the next day, the world changed. And in the rush to fund the war on terrorism, the war on waste seems to have been forgotten.
My '03 budget calls for more than $48 billion in new defense spending.
More money for the Pentagon when its own auditors admit the military cannot account for 25% of what it already spends.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
If and when more details of the missing Malaysian Airlines flight do eventually surface, don't expect the media to do any better job answering questions about it, or connecting any of the 9/11 dots in what may very well have been the world's first cyber hijacking, nearly 13 years ago.